All right, now introduction have happened. You've done a good job. Everybody has been given 1 to 2 minutes to really introduce themselves, not just a name, but really talk about who they are, what they want to do, their history, their passion, their jobs, their careers. And now that you've done that, now let's jump in to why we're here. We're not here to just say hello, hi, assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you, and peace out, right? We are here because we want to get something done. Now is the time where you introduce your legislative agenda. This is the time that we will now talk about our 2 or 3 issues that are important to us. So how do you do that? Be straightforward. These officials, this is what they do all day, every day. They basically hear from their constituents, then argue things on the state legislature. So it's completely acceptable for you to say, we are here to talk about XYZ bill, right? We are here to talk about the anti-Sharia bill, the anti-BDS bill. We're here to talk about increasing funding for education, criminalizing, automatic weapons, whatever it is. We are here to talk about this specific bill, the specific issue, and we are here to ask you to either support it or not support it. After you introduce the bill, talk about some of the basics. So, for example, a bill, the basis of it is that the bill will either be a House resolution or a Senate bill. Basically mean that if you're meeting a state representative, a House member, then the bill will probably will have the abbreviation HR, House Resolution, and it'll have some number to it. Give them that name HR, whatever number it is, or if you're meeting a senator, SB, Senate bill, whatever number it is. So that way, either the elected official or their staff can write down the bill that you're talking about, right? So they now know what you're talking about and what you're asking for. Say the basics. What is the bill about? What does the bill say? Who has introduced the bill? So for example, every bill has to be introduced by some congressional official. So for example, if a bill was introduced, let's say you're talking to a Democrat and already it was introduced by another Democrat, then that Democrat might be more inclined to support it because another one of his colleagues have already supported it. You can also talk about co-sponsors, meaning that a bill, well, let me take a step back. There's way too many bills that are introduced in the state legislature for these elected officials to read everything. They just can't. There's not enough time. They don't. They do not read every bill that they vote on or pass on. That just doesn't exist. So instead, what they rely on is who introduced the bill. If they're a Democrat or Republican and a friend of theirs who's a Democrat or Republican introduced the bill, they're like, okay, well, if he supports it, I probably support it. Then there's what are called co-sponsors. Here are the people that have co-sponsored the bill. So again, if you're speaking with a Democrat or a Republican and a bunch of other Democrats or Republicans have signed on to it, then that person's like, well, if they signed on, I'm sure one of them read it and they know what's going on, I should support it as well. The best bills are the bills that have bipartisan support, which is a fancy term for both the Republicans and the Democrats, both support it, right? So you have multiple co-sponsors from both parties, meaning that this isn't a political issue because, it's always political, but this isn't an issue that's just for my party or their party. There's no battle because you now have co-sponsors from both parties. Always try to get co-sponsors from both parties if you can. And then you want to tell them, we want you to support this bill, or we want you to go against this bill. Support the bill or go against. Now, for many of us, that's hard to do because we're used to like fluff conversation. We're not used to meeting somebody like, hey, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. This is the issue that's important to our community. This is the issue that's against our community. But that's how you have to start off. So again, you've introduced yourselves. Now you're introducing your bill. And you do this introduction for every single bill or every single issue that you're going to bring up in that meeting.